We had a conversation last week about Nikki. This is Todd in South Dakota. Eddie, is NIKKI SIXX underrated in terms of his combination as contributions as a songwriter to the genre of rock music? Possibly, Todd. Possibly. We had a conversation last week about Nikki and about the fact that Motley is not talked about nearly enough for the snubbage of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Motley Crue eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now for 15 years, never even on a ballot. That is an oversight and snub that we do not spend enough time talking about and acknowledging, and really should. Nikki personally, yeah, probably is overlooked in that department because I think when it comes to Motley, it's so much about the sensationalism, the sex, the drugs, the rock and roll, the dirt, the starlets that they dated, the sex tapes, the car crashes, the deaths, the drugs. I think so much of that is about Motley Crue that sometimes the songs themselves are somewhat overlooked. So I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that assessment. And I really strongly feel, and I'm going to, as a voter, I'm going to start banging this drum, that Motley Crue absolutely has to start getting in the dialogue for major snubs for the Hall of Fame. Chad in Houston. Chad's cheating here because he listens and calls in all the time, but now he's sending an email to the mailbag. The mailbag is for the people who can't call in during the live window, but look, not exclusively. People get through that listen live as well, and that's fine. But the bulk of it is people who can't call in, which is kind of the idea where we do this from time to time. Anyway, Chad writes, Eddie, before I get to my top 3 Van Halen album list, which I wanted to include my favorite song from each album, I was fortunate to see Eddie Van Halen play in the Gary Cherone era, and to me, it was a really great show despite public opinion. It also is a memory I will never forget and cherish. Now, I know you got a lot of mail, so here's my top 3 Van Halen records. So Chad is calling back to a couple weeks ago when we remembered Eddie on his 1-year anniversary of his passing.